All praise going out, most certainly do. To the most high God, the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and peace to you in the name of Jesus. I count it truly a blessing each and every single time that I can come before the priest, the word of God. Never do I count it as a light thing to do so. In today's lesson, I want to deal with what starts the Great Tribulation and the duration. What starts the Great Tribulation and the duration of the Great Tribulation. And the reason I'm doing this is because this is a time that is approaching. This is a major event, and this is a dark time, a dark period or era prior to the second coming. Peace to you, Brother Nicodemus. Prior to the second coming of the Mashiach or the Messiah. And there is great misunderstanding about this time. So the first thing I want to deal with, quite simply, is just how does it begin and how long is it? Even that, if you look at the common Christian teachings, you have post, mid, and pre-rapture tribulationists. All that's wrong. There's no rapture. And even when you talk about how long it is, they have that messed up as well. Peace to you, brother Willie. Good to see you there. Peace to everybody that's listening. I want to start off in Revelation, the 3rd chapter, and just see something he says. He says, because that in verse 10, Revelation 3:10, the Messiah says, because thou hast kept the word of thy patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. So this is a tumultuous time that's coming, a trial that's coming upon this earth. And the Messiah, he tells his apostles, or at this time, their disciples, the Messiah tells his disciples about this time, because this is the time that's going to take place just the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. So now in this case, the temple's still there. This is pre-siege. Okay. And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. So he's telling them that this temple that you see is going to be destroyed. It's going to be destroyed to the point where you won't even know that the temple was there. Okay. And when you read the historical record, that's just what's said. Now let's pick it up at verse 3. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? So he warns them about deception. He said, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. He warns them about wars, rumors of wars. Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There should be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All this is just the beginning. What's coming next? Persecution. He says, then shall they, in verse 9, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. He warns again about betrayal and about false prophets rising, and the iniquity of many, the iniquity abounding, and the love of many waxing cold. And then he says something in verse 15. He says, when you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Okay, he tells you then let him which be in the Judea flee into the mountains. Okay, so it was a time to flee prior to the siege, but understand it's going to be time to flee when it's right prior to this great tribulation, because he says in verse 21, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no ever shall be. Now let's go to because something has to take place. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians. Because what's this holy place that he's talking about? 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand. See, they were asking about the return of the Mashiach. Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And it's going to be the end of the world as we know it. But in verse 3, he says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God. So now this abomination of desolation, this man of sin, the son of perdition, aka many who call it the Antichrist, not one who just has the spirit of Antichrist, but the Antichrist. It says, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. He's going to stand in the temple, in the third temple that will be rebuilt. Okay. So now, but how long? So that's the beginning, okay, of the Great Tribulation. But how long is the Great Tribulation? Let's go and pick it up in Daniel, the 7th chapter, because he referred us back to Daniel. And he tells us about this one to come. He says in verse 25, Daniel 7 and 25. Daniel 7 and 25 reads, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, right? He's going to exalt himself. And it says, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. So he's going to be raging war against God's people, Most High's people, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times. So now what is that? That's 3.5 years. Times, the time is 1. Times is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. And half a time, that's a half. So 3.5 years. That is the duration of the Great Tribulation, brothers and sisters. Let's pick it up again. It tells us all over the Bible about this time. Daniel, the 12th chapter and verse 7. Let's see, Daniel 12 and verse, hold on one second. Let me find it. Daniel 12 and verse 7. It reads, and I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times, and in half. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. So again, time, times, which is 2.5. Let's go to Revelation. See, all over the Bible, we have this 3.5 year period. Revelation, the 11th chapter. Revelation, the 11th chapter. And I want to pick it up at verse 1, because he's telling us here about this temple area. Okay, this is Revelation 11th chapter in verse 1, and we're going to find out about the time. It says, and there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood saying, rise and measure the temple of God and the altar and them that worship therein. Then he says something, but the court which is without the temple or outside the temple, leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread underfoot. How long? 42 months, brothers and sisters. 42 months is 3.5 years. Let's go to Revelation, the 13th chapter. Revelation, the 13th chapter. And I want to pick it up because it's going to be talking about this man of sin again. Okay, so it says, as far as what this man of sin in this chapter, what this false prophet does in the rise of this beast. Okay, this reunification of the Roman Empire. And it says in verse 4, 13 and 4, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who was like unto the beast? And who was able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue how long? 42 months. How long is 42 months? 3.5 years. So we've read it 4 times. Okay. Now, how is it that they would come with a 7-year? And peace to everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace to everybody that's listening. And all praise to the Most High for any edification. How is it that they come up with a 7-year Great Tribulation? Well, let's go to the book of Daniel. And they will, quote unquote, swear by this and teach this. I've heard, I can't, just numerous, because I listen to different ministers. And they claim there's a 7-year Great Tribulation. And what they do is they misread something in Daniel. So let's go look at it. Let's go look at it. This is Daniel, the 9th chapter. We're going to pick it up at verse 24. Daniel, the 9th chapter and verse 24. So it says, Daniel, the 9th chapter and verse 24. Give me 1 second. Daniel 9 and verse 24. So it reads as follows. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Brothers and sisters, this is talking about a lot of things. You first read about this 70 weeks or 70 years, these are weeks of years in the book of Jeremiah. Okay. And Daniel, he was reading Jeremiah and trying to figure out when this captivity was going to be over, the captivity of Israel. This is not talking about great tribulation that comes just that occurs prior to his ending. The people coming to his coming, prior to his coming, but people have used this to totally mess up the time frame. And if you don't know the time, of his coming, and if you are expecting something to take place that's not going to take place, your faith's gonna be shaken more than likely, because you will realize that you have believed in a lie. You'll realize that your spiritual ideology or religious belief was based upon pudding. And you had no footing. So it says, Daniel 9:24, it says, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people. The people are Israel, and upon thy holy city, that's Jerusalem, to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity. The reconciliation was made with the Messiah. It said, and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and to prophesy and to anoint the most holy. Okay, to anoint the most holy. When was he anointed? He was anointed approximately in 26 AD. Okay, now it says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The streets shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times. What is this talking about? This is talking about, brothers and sisters, when the commandment by Artaxerxes, Cyrus put this in motion, but Artaxerxes put forth a commandment around 457. And what took place was that allowed Israel to go back and rebuild, because they had all kinds of trouble trying to do that, even after what Cyrus did. And it said the street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times. You can read about that in Ezra 7 and Nehemiah, the 4th chapter, I believe, when it talks about how, the people came against them because the surrounding people, the area, when they were allowed to go back, they did not want them to rebuild the temple. Okay. So it says, and after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off. Now, wait a minute. Where's he cut off? That's talking about the Messiah being killed. Okay. And it says, but not for himself. He died for our sins. You read about that in Isaiah 53rd chapter, or prophesied of in Isaiah 53rd chapter as well. And you read the accounts in the Gospels. But then it says, and the people of the prince, that's the Romans, and the prince of Satan that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. And the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined. That's talking about when he came in 70 AD. Okay, that's what happened. He came in 70 AD. He said, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a time when there's not going to be one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. That's what that's talking about. Verse 27, and he shall confirm or strengthen the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. Wait a minute. Now, this is not talking about some man of sin that's this everybody gonna think he's so great. It was gonna come into this is talking about what the Messiah did in the midst of the week. This was a prophetic week, 3.5 years. His ministry, he was baptized at 30 and anointed at 30. That's the anointing that it's talking about. This is my beloved son, whom I'm well pleased. Hear him. He ministered for 3.5 years after that, and then he was cut off in the midst of the week. Okay. And it says, and it says, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. How did he cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease? No more sacrifices. That's why the veil and temple rent in two when he died. So it says, and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. So we should understand, brothers and sisters, that this great tribulation that's fast approaching, I might add, is taking place when the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stands in the holy place. When that man of sin sits in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God, right? That's when the tribulation, that's setting in motion the great tribulation. Okay. And how long is that great tribulation? Times, and the dividing of times. 40 and 2 months, 3.5 years. And with that, brothers and sisters, I want to remind you, we have the House of the Faith meet every Sabbath at 5925 West 25th Avenue in Gary, Indiana at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. We live stream right here on the Israel Teach YouTube channel. as well as at www.israelteach.org. If you've been edified through our ministry and would like to leave a donation, you can go to our website and do so. Again, www.israelteach.org. 100% of the proceeds goes to the work of the ministry. Also, in addition, we have Bible study every Friday night on Zoom at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you would like to have your questions answered according to what the Most High says in His Word, feel free to come in. The information on how to do that is located at the bottom of this video. We also have books available on Amazon.com and where other books are sold. Into Egypt Again with Ships, the pagan origin, Into Egypt Again with Ships, a message to the forgotten Israelites or African Americans. Ran these two together. The pagan origins of Christian holidays, killing Black innocents, the program to control African American reproduction from slavery's into the present day self-inflicted genocide, hair like wool, feet like burned brass, the color of Jesus and burning truths concerning the Messiah. This is a book that's pertinent to what I was just talking about. For then shall be great tribulation, as well as the latest book in defense argument in defense of biblical polygyny. So those are just books that are available at the moment on Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble and where other books are sold. Again, all praise to the Most High. Again, for any edification, because that's who truly deserves it. He's the one that gives understanding. And with that, brothers and sisters, it's always my prayer that you were edified.